Hey, welcome back. This is CF Liu, independent licensed financial advisor in Malaysia. As someone who believes that you need health to spend your wealth and also to live a rich life, I want to share with you my DNA health test result. Now, if you need insights on why and how I actually did my DNA test, you check out the videos popping up here. DNA test may reveal things you don't even know about yourself, and it's actually coded in your DNA. Now, how powerful is that? And it may even confirm what you kind of suspect something about yourself your entire life, but this actually confirmed that. Now, without further ado, let's jump right into the part 1 of my DNA test result. So this is how it looks like, your Circle DNA test report. All the reports are in app form, something like that. I'm actually showing you on the screen over here. I'm going to go through part 1, which is called diet and lifestyle. Very interesting insights actually. If I look at here, diet, low carb is the optimal diet type for me. And what does that mean? Now, you see, this has to be explained together with this, which is called what I call as a what they call as a carbohydrate sensitivity. Now, in layman, it means that if I eat rice, noodle, or bread, or anything which primarily is a carbohydrate, I can get fat very easily. And this might be unfair for those of you who actually see your friends or your siblings can eat everything, can eat a lot of rice, can eat everything they want, and you say it's not fair because they don't never get fat. But even if you eat just moderate amount of rice or bread and all that, you get fat easily. Now, you say life is not fair. But the thing is, if you look over here, is that about 50% of the population have this, what we call as high carbohydrate sensitivity. The thing about carbohydrate, this is not really fat that makes you fat. It's actually carbohydrate and sugar as well. Why I can prove that to you is because for the few years back, up until now, my weight peaked at about 76. So my BMI was exceeding that. I was overweight, and then because I cut almost all carbohydrate and I consume very less sugar, I actually dropped my weight from 76 to about 60 or 61. So I'm keeping that at that stage. And I did that, accomplished that in 18 months. Quick pause. This video is done in collaboration with Circle DNA from Hong Kong. Now, Circle DNA offers the most comprehensive DNA test in the world, anywhere in the world, with over 500 unique reports, which claim to be 50 times more than their competitors. This is a technology they use, very advanced, called Whole Exome Sequencing, what they claim as a 99.9% accuracy. So discover the right diet, the right nutrition, the right exercise for you according to your DNA. No more guesswork when it comes to, like shooting in the dark, when it comes to finding the right diet, finding the right nutrition, finding the right exercise for you to achieve whatever you want to achieve, whether it's a fitness goals or you want to reduce weight and all that. Now, because I've walked the talk by being a customer first of Circle DNA, I'm getting you a 20% off DNA kit purchase if you use the special link, and then you're actually using discount code that I'm sharing with you. If you are going to comment, if you care enough, you want these comments below in the sections below this where you see this video, and you get a 20% off, limited availability and quantity. Comments below, and I'll send you the coupon code. So if you want to know, just ask me about that, but I'm going to give you the answer anyway. Short answer is about intermittent fasting and actually keto diet. Now, if you want more detail, actually comment in the comment section below. So, and this actually proves a point, because I suspect that I get very fat very easily, especially after 30. Now, before 30, I don't really had this problem, but after 30 years old, I start to have this problem where my weight comes from 65, and then it started to inch up. It peaked at 76. I say I cannot afford to actually buy new pants every single year. So that is my problem. And this DNA test actually proved that I have, based on my genes, I have high sensitivity to carbohydrate. So as simple as that, right? And you can see that if I go back to here, you have even what we call as a recommendation, right? It explains things about your result, and then here there's a recommendation. So if you must eat carbohydrate, for me, I don't cut it off like completely. Basically, I will focus on the good carbohydrate. For example, it says unrefined, fruits, unprocessed, carbohydrate, vegetable, whole grains, and whatnot. So I don't really eat candy. I don't really eat highly processed carbohydrate like chips and all that, French fries, cookies, white flour, refined. But white flour sometimes you cannot avoid when you eat bread, right? But just try to minimize it. So that's what I do. So as you can see, the report itself is very user friendly. It gives you a recommendation. Now, not too long, just the right length in order for you to get the point. So low carb is the carbohydrate kind of diet for me. Now moving on to what I call as this is also pretty interesting, fat sensitivity. Now, fat sensitivity basically means that how sensitive your body is when you eat like animal fats or whatnot, how sensitive it is to this fat that kind of clog your arteries, right? The good fats, of course, are almonds, avocado, all that is not likely to clog your arteries, but you can't avoid from eating like butter and fatty beef and cheese and all that. So if you have, which in my case, I have actually normal sensitivity, so even if I eat these animal fats and all that, I'm not likely to have my cholesterol level spike as compared to someone with higher sensitivity to fat. Moving on, now this is also interesting. They say if you are highly sensitive to salt, it means that if you eat too much salt, and salt is actually present in a lot of food, right? Even very innocent food like bread and all that. If you are sensitive to salt, very sensitive to salt, basically you are very prone to high blood pressure if you eat eat out too much when they put a lot of salt in your cookings and all the dishes that you order. So that is the problem. And if you have high blood pressure or if you have a history of high blood pressure, this is something, if you do the test, and it will tell you a lot about how sensitive you are to salt. The next thing is alcohol sensitivity. Now this is not actually no surprise. I can't really drink alcohol. Now, back in the days when I first had my first sip of wine and all that, my face was red, it was blush, was really hot, and I thought there's something wrong with me because other people just can drink a few glasses of wine and they don't get that kind of reaction. I thought I was a weird one out. I always skip when people ask me to drink, even beer and all that. My DNA actually shows that nowadays I don't even go to like entertain clients for drinking and all that. No time for that. That is not my approach of doing business. But my DNA test actually shows that I'm highly sensitive to alcohol, which means that the symptom is your face get blush when you drink a lot. Even a little bit of alcohol. Now, for you who drinks coffee, those of you who drinks coffee, if you drink coffee, you know that if you drink coffee normally, you don't have any reaction. Likely, you'll be like me. You have normal sensitivity to caffeine, but if you have higher sensitivity to caffeine, for example, like my father, what he really happens is when he drinks, and his blood, he will start to have this increased heartbeat. His heart will actually raise. So he can't really drink coffee at all. I think he hasn't done this, of course, but if he's done this, I reckon he must have a higher sensitivity to caffeine, which is why some people just cannot drink coffee because it contains caffeine. A few things that also pretty interesting over here. It says that I am actually a super taster, which means that if a salty food you taste a lot saltier than people who are not a super taster, and a bitter food will taste a lot bitter for me. Yeah, maybe true, but there's actually no way to compare, right? Sweet tooth will say that I have a higher preference for sweet things. I use logic, and probably I consciously make a decision not to eat a lot of sweet things, even during childhood actually. So I'm not sure if this is actually pretty accurate, but actually my DNA test that DNA result shows that I actually have this what I call as high preference for sweet things. Now the other thing is weight regain. I have an elevated risk for weight regain. You are likely to have elevated risk of regaining weight rebound once you've lost it, which is why I exercise, like I run like 5 or 6 km every day, so just to keep my weight in check, make sure it drops above 61, doesn't bounce back up. And this is the thing, and then obesity brings a lot of problem. Right? A lot of problem, you start to crop out like high blood sugar and all that, which is why I consciously not let my weight actually regain, make it hover at around 60, 61. So, but I have a pretty elevated risk for that according to my DNA. When you eat meats, right? Well, meats, we eat like grill or smoke and all that, high kind of heat used to cook compared to like steam or boil and boil, that kind of method of cooking. When you actually grill and all that, cook it at high heat, the meat that we eat are more likely to produce toxin. Now, this kind of toxin, of course, on the short term, it won't affect anything. Just consume that and then liver get rid of it. But if your body, like me, what we have, what we call as increased toxin generation speed based on DNA, it suggests that body is predisposed to generate higher amounts of potentially harmful chemicals from smoked food that can damage DNA and proteins in your cells, possibly leading to serious health problems in the long run. So I again make this conscious decision not to eat too many fried things are meats that I cook at high speed, and this is also very detrimental if I don't eat this vegetable that keeps me or just keeps my detox system working. Moving on to well-being. Appetite control. This is how the well-being section looks like. The interesting thing is about here, based on your DNA, what is your expected life longevity? Now, it's likely that I will be just an average longevity, retire at 80 or something like that. But they say that it's a trait that is heavily influenced by lifestyle, right? So it is not really, it's not written in the stone, because as you can see over here, they have these things called confidence level, meaning that they actually tell you like, all right, what are the tested genes based on your DNA to reflect on life longevity? And this is all the scientific thing. I don't even know what this is, but they try to be telling you the fact that it's very scientific, and these genes alone have 3 out of 5 confidence level that determine the life longevity. Of course, even if you're blessed with high life longevity, if you smoke, you don't take care of your health, it's likely you're not going to live long anyway, right? So pretty cool here, life longevity, and they even tell you like what actually determines longevity. It's something called telomerase. I'm not sure if I pronounced that correctly. So you can actually look at it. What actually affects life longevity? Well, this is like pretty interesting. Very, 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 very useful to actually know this, right? And the other thing is about mosquito bite. So as you can see, tendency for mosquito bite is high, really high. I would say this is exactly true. Since I was a kid, so mosquito bite was a lot of problem. Posed a lot of problem for me, because people might just sit in the same place they have no mosquito bite. I'm the one who are getting mosquito bite all over. And this is what we call as a higher tendency. However, I doubt this is true, because my blood type is actually not O, and it seems like blood type O is the type of blood type that attracts a lot of mosquito bites. So I'm not O, so I'm not sure if how accurate is this. Metabolic response suggests that your body burns calories at an average rate. This, I would say that if you have like normal response, this should be good. Coupled with if you are not sensitive to high carbohydrate, I think even if you are 50, you can eat anything that you want without getting fat, because you have a high metabolism, because that is how you convert food that you eat into energy. So pretty cool to know this. The other thing is moving on, based on the diet and lifestyle section, the stress and sleep. Now, what is this about? Now, stress and sleep, it seems like, which is true, they say that I'm a deep sleeper. So my wife also always complains that when I sleep, and our kids are crying, and I don't even realize it, right? When there is during Chinese New Year or Hari Raya, or when you have like those fireworks, firecrackers like bang in the sky, I'm ignorant to it, because once I'm asleep, I don't really realize it, which is he said it's quite dangerous. But my wife is a slight sleeper, so that complement each other as well, right? If there's any emergency, it's likely he would want to realize it instead of me. So stress. Now this is also very interesting. It says that I'm highly resistant to stress. As you can see, whether you are a worrier, a neutralist, or a worrier, it says that worry with higher stress tolerance, so I can tolerate high stress like no issue, right? So here's the thing. Depending on the job that you are in, if you are really someone, for example, if in my job as a financial advisor, now imagine I'm someone of a worrier, or you engage a financial advisor with a worrier kind of DNA trait. Now, when there's any volatility in the market, when there's any Brexit or trade war, and then he or she will actually panic and make those like stupid decision, now unnecessary action to actually switch your portfolio and all that too early, too soon. In investment, they say sometimes inaction is the best action. But if you're a warrior and you have someone that actually manage the money for you, and he or she is a warrior, can you imagine you're probably going to execute a lot of transaction or trades more often than you need to. So choose your advisor carefully, right? He or she can't be someone who worries more than you. Ready to lose weight, train better, and eat smarter? Stop all your guesswork that prevents you from reaching your weight loss goals or your fitness goals. For less than $200, you can discover empowering insights about your DNA, about the right nutrition, the right diet, and the right exercise for you based on your DNA. And because I've actually done this test myself, which I've demonstrated this entire video, now I want you to actually live healthier so that you could have all the time you want to actually accumulate wealth and also spend it. You get a 20% off out of your purchase. Here's the full disclaimer for full transparency. I do earn a commission, a referral fee, if you buy through the links, through my affiliate link, and also if you buy using the discount code which I'm going to send with you. If you're going to comment below to say that, comments below, I want to do this and I want this discount code for 20% off the retail price listed on the Circle DNA website. So 20% off from your purchase at no extra cost to you. Can you use another discount code which entitled for 20% off? Of course you can. But if you were to use my discount code for full transparency, I'm going to earn a small commission out of it at no extra cost to you, which actually help me and my team to actually keep producing these valuable video lessons or content for you in this YouTube channel. By the way, let me know in the comment section below if the discount code no longer works or it has expired, and we'll get back to you on that shortly. Thank you for your support. And the other thing is skin. So it's true that my skin actually look younger than what my real age is. Now, some of you actually envy that, because if I took a selfie and sometimes the phone today, it will actually detect your face, and I'm using a phone where the camera actually detects my face and tells me how old estimated I am. And I'm in my late 30s, and the thing is, they always detect me in my early 30s or even late 20s. So my skin actually looks a lot younger than it is. This is also highly accurate acne risk, which I hope my kids don't have it, but my wife don't have it because she have never have these very serious bouts of acne or pimples during her teenage years. But I do, which is why you see, if you look at it closely, I have some scars over here because pimple scars. I have a lot of pimples, acne during my teenage years, and this is evidently because my DNA is built like that. I have a high risk of developing acne compared to the average person. So this is exactly true. And I think I will share with you more on the other sections in the next lesson. So that's all for me for this video. If you like the video, give it a like and subscribe. Comments below if you want to get a 20% discount code. I'll see you next time. This is Liu.